So that's simmering.
저런 거에서 이렇게 바닥에 이렇게 된 그런 게 있으면 좋은데. 그치? 이거 같은 거 신경 쓰여. 아 정말 거기.
Alright, so basically we're basically done. All we need to know is at the end I'll add the cheese and the garlic, and you stir and just let it simmer a little bit. Check my garlic.
And the butter?
What are you gonna do with the?
Oh, and the butter. Butter.
Mushrooms?
Yeah.
You can add mushrooms. What I like to do with the vegetables is you make the sauce and the pasta, and you mix it together and you serve that. And depending on, you can make it individual. Do you want mushrooms? So you chop and saute some mushrooms and then put it on top. Steam or saute some garlic, broccoli, put it on top. Whatever ingredients you want to add. Chicken goes great. You know,
Yeah.
you can grill it or boil it and then chop it, slice it, put it in the sauce. And the sauce keeps very well, as long as you keep it in airtight small containers. Alright, so the cream is starting to simmer a little bit. That's good, letting the flavor of the onions mix with the cream. Okay. Remember I said when it starts to sweat, that's when the flavor is starting to come out. So as you can, if you look, the garlic is starting to brown on the edges a little bit, and then the juices from the garlic are coming out. So the garlic is starting to sweat, and you can start to smell it. Okay, this is maybe a few more minutes, and then I'll just chop it and put it in there.
일이 커질까봐 안 물어보려고.
Now for the milk, if you run out of sauce, okay, real quick, easy fix to make more: milk and flour.
Milk and flour.
Now milk, I will add straight to the pot. But this, I'm going to add and make a paste. You can do this in two ways. Okay, you can do this way with milk. If you want to make it thicker, but don't want to use more milk, or you don't have any milk, you can use water. Or you can do what we call by making a roux. Okay, roux. You take flour and butter, and you melt it, and you fry the flour. Okay. Then you add, it cooks the gluten in the flour a little bit so it doesn't get so pasty. And then you add that to your sauce, and it's able to thicken it without being that.
I like
that way. That's a very professional way.
Yeah, really?
Yes. I learned that. Yeah.
That's the basic way to make cream soup, isn't it? Right. Actually, Sonny was suggested, why don't you chop the garlic first and then bake it?
What happens is, I want as much of the natural juice to stay garlic flavor. When you cook garlic, it becomes sweet, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. So the outside, if it's thick, if it's big pieces, the outside starts to cook, right? And then the center inside, barely still a little bit raw. But that's when the juices come out. So you get the garlic flavor, but not the sweet flavor of the garlic.
I see.
It's very similar to make a steak.
Very
similar to make a steak.
Yes. Very high quality steak, same reason. You cook the outside, and then the inside becomes warm and just barely starts to cook. And the rare, medium rare, like that.
Very original.
So again, no measurements. I just look and see how much you need.
Yeah.
And mix well.
Who is a scientist?
Sorry?
Right.
Like I said, we brought in the expert this Friday. You guys are very lucky.
So here, before you add, you mix so that you get the lumps out. It's not lumpy. It becomes smooth. Alright, that's smooth. Now we add milk.
Need more
I know,
milk?
no.
Oh.
I know in cups. So I'd say
Oh.
that's about a cup.
Uh.
So maybe 2 cups worth of milk. One, 2.
Wow, perfect cup.
Good. So that's simmering, got that. Butter should be soft by now. Yeah. All right. I will take a few.
샀다.
Okay, so it's starting to brown on it, cook a little bit on the outside. Okay. So
Would you like me to prepare anything for garlic bread first?
sure.
Okay.
You can mash and mix the butter.
Okay. Or should we get a volunteer from the
Volunteer.
studio audience? Would someone like to volunteer to prepare the butter?
You better.
I don't know.
You okay? You look very sick.
My legs and hands and arms are okay. My neck, just
And,
my
and,
neck.
and before, please introduce yourself.
I used to go to institute here about like how long ago? 5 months ago.
5 months
Actually,
ago.
I was taking religion class only for
November.
1 year. For 1 year.
Just 1 year you start to speak English
No.
for 1 year.
No,
No.
I said I studied in a religion class.
Mm.
I was for 1 year here
Ah, yeah, just
I
religion
studied
class.
from my college school.
When did you start your English?
From my college year, from my freshman year.
Your major is in English,
No,
no?
no painting, fine art.
Oh, that
Oh, so we think your English is very good, so I want to, I
Thank
want
you.
to want,
Thank
but
you, I'm
you are-
flattered. No, I need to learn more.
She makes a lot of people gave up
No!
study English.
Yeah, right.
I don't think so.
And so this is
I
really
agree, your opinion.
Do you really need
Oh yeah, yes. Go, come and go
ready
ahead.
for you here to mash. Chris just added some roasted garlic to the butter, and then just
that one?
Yeah, I took a couple pieces of the roasting garlic, go ahead and chopped it up, and just mix it all together until
난
it's a soft
레전드가
paste.
아니야. 여기 레전드과야 아니야. 모르는 사람이 너무
It's
많아.
not so yet.
Esther.
Oh,
Yesterday.
Do I need
just yeah, crush it. Yeah.
아, 미국에 살다가 오셔가지고 했다고 한번 들은 적 있는 것 같다. 지난번에 제시카.
Rachel always says like this. She make her to give up to feel
응.
give up the English studying.
아, 레이첼스.
Yeah, Rachel's
Mind.
thing.
All right, what I'm adding now, I'm going to
That
add
is the real
the
jockey.
milk and flour.
okay. The milk and flour.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And always stir when you add,
Yeah.
otherwise it might clump and make a pancake in your.
Do I need to still stir the pan all the time? Otherwise,
Oh,
I feel like
occasionally.
it's gonna be spoiled by.
That's a good point. I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
좀 전에
When making sauces, it's always good to have a good pan, meaning a thick bottom. Okay, that way it's not affected by the heat, the fire as much.
Mm.
So the thin ones are good for boiling water because it's quickly, it boils quick. But when you're cooking, simmering, you want a thick bottom pan.
Mm.
Yeah. It retains heat, and so you can turn the heat down lower, and it'll slowly lower the heat. You can turn the heat up higher, it'll slowly raise the heat.
Mm.
It won't automatically high low and burn the food.
Okay.
very useful tips.
I think you know that already.
Sorry?
I think she knows that already.
No, I'm not
You
good.
could use like 3-layer pan, the really, fashion is really good. They're really heavy though.
Okay. Whisk, just to when you're whisking the cream, puts a little more air into the cream, makes it a little bit fluffier.